Group 7 of the Wisdom of Thoth tournament will be graced by the presence of Antiraider playing as Odin. That's funny because Odin, you don't really want to raid. On the other side, we've got Kvoth. First time I'm actually casting his games, so any of his games. So that's gonna be very interesting. I've seen good stuff from him on other channels, so very much looking forward to that. Especially on Boyd's channel, he appears a lot. Yeah, he's playing as Hades. So the Wisdom of Thoth tournament has a $1,000 prize pool, so definitely high stakes in this tournament. Overall, you don't want to drop out of the groups. The groups have 4 people in there. 2 of them will be advancing out into the round of 16. Pressure's on, as I said. Great Hunt has been used on the deer, not the piggies. Rodin player expecting to stay on the hunt for a long time. Quick shout out to our website subscribers. Most recently, Scorpion Laws has resubscribed, so I'm gonna pop him up right there. Should appear in a second. And he's on tier 6, the highest tier. Getting all them perks. Thank you, Scorpion Laws. You the man. Our website subscribers basically help us keep the project going. So if you want to join the ranks, very easy to do so via our link in the Twitch About section or YouTube description section. Helps tournaments like these happen. Alright, 4 relics on the map. We've got the arrows of the Alfar for building damage. That's actually very, very crazy for Hades if you can get that. Got the Belt of Argus for more unit line of sight. Got the Thundercloud Shawl for some pierce armor for humans. Then we've got the Monkey Head, which spawns 3 monkeys. Very nice in the early game to help defend against raids. Hell, you could just keep them at home. They don't even cost population, so... You know, those early raiding cav harassments that Norse players like to do? It's a very fine defense for that. Raiding cav don't exactly have a whole lot of health. Kvoth moving forward a little bit, going for the boars. Seems like the right kind of choice. Our Odin player just staying efficient. Considering that the second hunt is right on top of the first one, there's absolutely no need to go forward. Odin will control the early mid game anyway. Except for some cases where you get a really good Athena push in and you get some very nice early fights. With Hades, that's totally doable. But at the same time, who knows, who knows. I like actually that Kvoth has gone for this forest because it's the less important one. Getting this burned would be a problem because this actually acts as a natural wall. Losing this one is definitely a lesser issue. So I assume when Freya hits for Antiraider, he'll be scouting for that location and use it exactly where the villagers currently are. Also, quick welcome to the Eternal, Bark Maps, and Olvadi in the chat. Welcome everybody. First, it definitely should go and pick up some relics. Not sure it's particularly important right now to keep walling, although Classical Age is soon. There's definitely enough time to grab a relic real quick. I assume though the Ovsark hasn't been making houses, so actually that's maybe more important to do than anything else. There's a person called Angry Korea Man in the chat and he just caps locked and yelled Korea into the world. It's so funny. Love it. And Ajax picks up something. What's this? It's the arrows of the Alpha for a Norse player. And Ajax has the Pelt of Argus for line of sight. It's definitely a less important one. Should have swapped. Stable and Military Academy. A little bit surprising to not see any archers from Hades. This is what you normally do against like Oranos, or well, any Atlantean really, but not against Norse. So I'm really curious where this is heading. Granted, Kvoth has a whole lot of food to spend, so maybe it makes sense. Maybe this is how you knock the Odin off of hunt. It's a 1-1-1. We got a bit of everything. Hiding the hoplites. Of course, the Raven has seen it. The Raven sees it all. Valkyrie runs into the hero's arms. Yeah, this lady won't be doing anything here. Especially with Chiron chasing, who can hit her despite her movement. Except when he misses, which is random. You can't do anything about that. Got plenty of bodyguards for the hunters. Yeah, you can very clearly see how much more population the Norse player has, like Antiraider here. Actually might be matching the population right now of Kvoth. He's like ahead by 9. So a Greek player can't push just yet, not without using Restoration, and there's a lot of raiding cav right now. Bear in mind our Odin player hunts faster than our Greek player by far. So I guess the Greek player's next mission is to try to max out here. More relics getting picked up by Antiraider. We've got the Thundercloud Shawl, so the pierce armor on the units is gonna get a lot better now. Already 38% on these guys. That's very nice. You still really want them to be medium raiders though. That's important. Looking to hit the back, there's a bunch of villagers on the wood line that are rather exposed. Given that there's no walls from Kvoth, he just pre-made all the houses to make sure he doesn't get housed. Got 6 in one place, but the forest burning won't actually affect them. He placed them in a smart way like that. On the other side, we've got Hersiers getting picked up by the Toxotes and Chiron. An early restoration is being used. I'm not entirely sold on this one, but it will push Antiraider completely off of the hunt location, and this can be reinforced then further. There's plenty of defenders here, but 1 stray hoplite and 1 Toxotes got picked off thus far. Gotta be a little bit more careful with the rest, but this is definitely the place where you can knock through this tower and start picking off houses even, and maybe even the longhouse. Greek player is pretty entrenched in this choke point, and that's exactly where he wants to be. As more Toxotes get added, this army will only be more and more potent against throwing X-Men and the like. I think we got a second Valkyrie? So the second Valkyrie can heal up the first one. That's gonna be potentially paying for herself already. What was this again? The monkey head. I mean, it would have been nice. It's not, like, necessary. So from here, the Odin player is kind of stuck for the moment. You either go full population with medium infantry and medium cavalry and maybe even an armory upgrade. Although you have a relic, so maybe not necessary. But yeah, the armor is getting slapped down for option number 2, which is just jumping to heroic. And relying on frost and frost giant spam. And maybe during the frost you can even make a hill fort on top of the army, which is definitely very potent. Then you crank out a handful of either Jarl or Huskarl. If you hit the Toxotes with the Huskarl, they never really stood a chance against stuff like that. It's the hoplites that remain tough in that case, but then you can make a mostly wood-based army of throwing Axemen and Huskarl, and that's hard to play against that. That really demands Hippicon usage, which is not where Hades truly shines. But 1 TC versus 1 TC, very minimal raiding. Except that initial push, of course. Odin player gobbling up the hunt in the back. So that kind of means that Antiraider was never really pushed off of hunt. It's a kind of big deal. Medium cav is in, that's gonna change a lot in this dynamic. The villagers are super exposed for Kvoth. Has to be careful there. His army is super out of position. He's got medium infantry. But now the Hippicons are coming back along with the Chiron. Is that going to be enough to defend? I think with the villagers kitchen knifing around? Maybe. Also, note how he swapped locations to now start gathering here. Given his army has just secured the spot and he doesn't want to rally all the way over here again. Where the new villager actually got picked off. 2 villagers are lost due to this little movement. Raiding Cav are absolutely getting cleaned up. Even the Valkyrie is dead. So losing like 2-3 raiders is actually worth it because 2 villagers were picked up. That's kind of good. It doesn't make sense in terms of cost, but it makes sense because you have an extra villager now over the other player. And those villagers will be gathering and making up for that deficit over time. In fact, you'll get ahead most likely if the opponent doesn't kill that villager super quick. So, are we going in terms of aging up? Looks like Kvoth has resources for a second town center. Should definitely consider it. But for as far as I can see, Kvoth is just moving forward, trying to gather resources from multiple locations. Not really holding this spot right now. Has medium archers though. And I'm thinking these villagers can kitchen knife the raiding cav just fine. One of them will die, but that's a sacrifice Kvoth is willing to make. There go the raiding cav, but also we have Skadi. And this gives Antiraider the potential. If he can walk in there. Look at that split. It's beautiful. Oh. Gold miners still get frozen up. But this army was moved away. Beautiful dodge by Kvoth. Some of his units over here didn't get frozen in the first place. So that's a big deal. Minotaur is probably in a little bit of trouble against the hearse here. They're the same speed, so should be able to walk away. And be just fine. In fact, it seems like the Greek army significantly outnumbers the Norse one, despite half of it being frozen. So Kvoth has done rather well here. The second gold mine location is currently being taken by Antiraider, but it seems to me that the Greek army's retaliation will be too much and should be able to result in a gold star from here on out. Frost Giant is, well, it's not here anymore. Neither is Antiraider. He's out of the game. He's got a second chance though. It's a best of 3. So despite everything, maybe next time. So it's Tropical Mirage for game 2, and in the blue color we've got a repeat from Antiraider. He's gonna be sticking with the Odin, gathering a little bit of wood at the beginning of the match, making sure that he can get those ox carts out, I assume. On the other side of the map we have got Kvoth switching over to 4, so a bit of Norse Mirror situation. Not a particularly super high hunt map, but there's plenty, considering that it's not that. Actually, there's even zebra here, so this is not bad at all. Plus an elephant, okay. Ends up being definitely a high hunt variant of this, along with plenty of hyenas as well as goats. There's plenty of food to go around for everybody. Our pyramids are actually something that units can phase through for whatever reason. We've got the Tower of Cestus for tower attack increases. We've got Titan's Treasure. Probably won't see any use. Norse Mirrors and Titans are usually not something you say in the same sentence. Probably won't happen. There was no spectator, so we can't have the spectator information, sadly. Really like this little wall though. It's gonna cut off a lot of raiding. Look at that massive... we all know what that looks like. Anyway. Yes, a teardrop. Kvoth enjoying that archaic aged dwarven gold mine on Wubli. That's actually pretty good. It's 750 gold in there. Screening, I assume, getting ready to place that temple. Just a moment. Need to wait for the drop-offs. There we go. Bear in mind, it's only 80 wood. Bit of a discount there. Given that Norse buildings are weaker. Town center locations are rather forward. That actually is a big problem for Antiraider. Like, this is a lot harder to take than this is, but considering how Norse wars usually work, I would expect like a full-on raiding cavalry into raiding cavalry all-in kind of situation. It's very possible that our Odin player will be opting for Ulfsarks instead. But if that happens, then it's just raiding cavalry and throwing axe from Kvoth, and that will win any direct fight any time of the day. It's all about that mobility, all about hitting where you least expect it. Freya's coming in for Kvoth. And for Antiraider, it's gonna be Heimdall, so that's interesting. Especially because it's coming with a temple that's made at home, so it's not like a full-on proxy building the temple forward here just outside the tower range. No. It's nothing like that. Nothing so heavily committed. But then why Heimdall, I wonder? Sure, you'll be getting a handful of Einherjars out, and they're your mini flaming weapons. But can they truly play that kind of role where they change the direction the fight is going in? Because if we have raiding cav running around from Kvoth, you can be all over the place and pick off these villagers and deny hunt. Fake rush is being suggested in the chat by Nenny. It's possible, but you can tell that it's way too slow. Like, the time between Classical and the Einherjar arriving is too long. And you don't get forest fire, which would come in very useful in a battle, or even just to slow down villagers, or even just to open up this kind of area. Like, our teardrop over here is a huge pain in terms of locking down the map, but you burn this, and suddenly the main gold mine is exposed, right? There's a lot of value in that, and I'm not sure Antiraider made a fully informed decision about it. He actually isn't aware of where the gold mine is, and that's despite having ravens. So, what's the units gonna be? Currently don't have the gold to make any. Went a little bit over on the food department. It's an Ulfsark here. I assume it's gonna be an Ulfsark here too. But it's spotted by the Valkyrie, so this is now known. Ah, the second longhouse is sadly idle. It definitely slows down things a lot. Good job path blocking a little bit with the Einherjar. Oh, it's gonna be... Oh! He's faking out of it, so now he's going into throwing Axeman and raiding Cav. I guess hoping that Kvoth will overreact to the Ulfsarks that he spotted. But no. Yes, actually he's making double throwing Axeman. I think it worked. But because it will be more difficult to enter here, I think the defense is actually perfect. There's plenty of Hersters to kill for the throwing axes. And once Kvoth realizes this is actually going to be raiding Cav, he can just swap back into raiding Cav himself. In fact, he's going to hide the fact that he's going for such heavy throwing X-Men production. Keeping them at home, still raiding with the raiding Cav. This is actually super smart. Just hiding the tech, Might catch all these villagers if Antiraider's not careful, but he's right on top of it with the army, so that's good. Should stabilize the game a bit there. Still, one villager pickoff will in fact happen. It's kind of brutal. The reigning Kvoth are just gonna get away. They've idled these villagers. The giraffe meat is decaying as well. Oh, those little things. They add up, right? It's plenty of damage right there. Kvoth now on 71 population, whereas Antiraider stuck at 55 needs to spam houses out real quick. We've got a second TC situation from Kvoth. That should help a lot economically, and I said before that this is a rather easy TC to grab, but should this be spotted, then Antiraider can fairly easily build one here as well. He's right on top of it. He can cancel some units that are in production. In fact, he did. And should slap down the TC right now. He's falling behind every second that he doesn't do it. We're trying to go heroic. For his sake, I hope not. Oh wow, Kvoth already finished. And now Antiraider will start. Game going into a bit of a more peaceful direction for a short time. The medium infantry on Antiraider's units. But Kvoth maintains his population lead. In fact, he's growing it. He's now an 83 population. That is not about the raid, that is not about the damage. That is just about having slightly better macro here. Bear in mind his dwarfs are cheaper, to be fair. But Odin hunts faster. And you get the god power to have more hunt in one place. So that kind of offsets itself. The villagers have hand axe and pickaxe over here. No hand axe for our Odin player. A little bit more walling coming up. TC was quite delayed, so meanwhile this other one has been able to like train 3 or 4 villagers. Probably just 3. Still a high number. As Kvoth is reaching the maximum population here, he's going to have to think about attacking soon. Well, going to have to. That's extreme wording. Not true. Not true, but he should think about it. Rather than grabbing a third TC, he can just verify that nobody's grabbing this. And use that fact to put on some damage. This is the time. Could just strike. Is Antiraider gonna go heroic again? Oh, we're not making villagers from the second TC. It might be on purpose to go heroic, but since military units were being made, that will be slowed down as well. The main gold mine has run out, so it took some time for the dwarves to relocate. And even after dropping off the resources, they don't have enough for heroic, so this TC hasn't done anything all game. And let's just take a quick look at what kind of difference that makes. So this earlier TC, plus the 1 villager kill, plus the idle time results in 10 more villagers. That is bonkers. And it looks like the wall has been broken through with Undermine? I guess it does allow Antiraider to catch some of these villagers. Maybe. But there's opposition here. Oh, the villagers get away. Unbelievable, dude. In fact, one of the raiding camp might go down here to the TC. It's the other one being targeted, though. So Kvoth is going to take this opportunity for the third TC. He's not attacking until he's maxed out, apparently. Just defending himself for now. He's going to find the gold miners where they are. So that's a fairly big deal. Scotty's in. He's abandoning the TC, joining the fight instead. Raiding Cav kind of realized they're outnumbered, so he's gonna run away. With these guys breaking through, I would say probably don't go for the TC though. Seems like overkill to me. Throwing axe is not exactly the best attacking units, and immediately you see Antiraider picking up Masons. But the TC was still not making units, so that's not good. Medium cavalry is in, which will help a lot against these throwing axes. Frost Giant will make it a lot better. Promise. Kvoth could very easily put down the hill fort and control either the mine or start sieging the TC from it. Hell, there's all these front buildings, right? So you could probably just crank out a handful of rams. And running into the TC fire with those throwing axes, that will definitely hurt them a lot. Now Antiraider has Frost up. Throwing axe and finishes the third TC, so Kvoth once again training units. Getting actually fairly close to that mythic age. Almost ready to click up. He's got upgraded towers. Just needs to mark it now as far as I can see. It's not yet being made. Almost maxed out. Forest fires being used, hitting a lot of these units, and Frost will also catch all these dwarves. No other Frost is being used in retaliation as the army is once again split into two. And the Raiding Cav getting taken down by throwing axemen plus Hearse here has also got to hurt quite a bit. The walls are finally burned down, and I think there's a chance this Frost Giant will destroy that just in time. Yeah, all this damage adding up is a tough situation for Antiraider to be in. And look at this, Kvoth can just happily walk away. He's got heavy infantry. Still got a load of resources. Still can't see a market though. Bunch of units on freeze, but there's still way more Kvoth here than there is Antiraider. Frost Giant gets frozen by the Frost Giants, so that's a nice catch there. Perseus will be able to finish it off, but there's still plenty of Kvoth even after all that. And I just heard a Mythian popping out. What is this group doing here? I wonder if Kvoth just goes back and kills those. He could actually escape through the wall here. There's absolutely no issue. He just wants to trade units. Oh, he's ready to go Mythic. Still no market. But as for Antiraider, he's rather far away from Mythic. He also doesn't have a market. That's a longhouse being made here. No hill fort has been created yet still. We do have copper shields for whatever reason. And Huntress Axe. That's going to be useful though for those heavy throwing axemen. And here we've got copper mail and weapons. Medium cavalry, medium infantry for Antiraider. It's not too bad. It's just a population game that he's struggling with. It's 75 pop right now versus Kvoth's 137. And there comes the hill fort. And if he's going mythic, that might be game right there. Technically, all he needs to do is click Ragnarok. Should be enough. Especially maxed out now. Oh, he can't click Ragnarok. He picked Tyr. So maybe we'll see Fimbulwinter. Frost Giant attempting to siege. Audience barely helping. Once again, Frost Giant freezes. What? What? How did that freeze still go through? I don't get it. How did the red Frost Giant get to freeze the Raider? It was already getting frozen by the other frost giant. Like, that was really strange. There was a massive delay there. Anyway, Mythic is reached. Fimbulwinter is clicked in. And that's gonna be a huge issue. It's gonna destroy these ox carts. Several villagers will be idled. It's even helping out in the main fight. One frost giant definitely going down to Fimbulwinter here. And there's a double hill fort now up front. Actually would kind of like to see ballista spam when you're already this secure. But I guess Huskarl are fine. They're gonna help a lot with tanking against the town center. And Antiraider is going to resign, making Kvoth able to move on to the next stage of this group. Well, he'll be facing the winner of Shelty and Mariano. One of those guys will immediately get to advance. The other person will have to go through the losers bracket, which is where Antiraider is going as well. Good stuff. We want to thank our MetaPlace website subscribers. Your contribution helps us keep the project sustainable. As we reach higher subscription goals, you are helping us cover more and more behind the scenes costs, such as video editing. Check out our subscription page using the link in the description, and remember to collect your perks. We will see you the next time.